Okay, I was speaking to y'all about the Garden of Eden being Iceland. Um, the wrong has been done, and all can be done now is to right that wrong. Um, Pray for God's forgiveness. Um, Again, Holy Bible, King James Version. We're going to go to Genesis chapter 2. I also have the Worldwide Atlas. Reader's Digest. Um, Chapter 2, Genesis, verse 10. Well, no, we'll back up to verse 8. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made the Lord God. This is speaking of Jesus. He was in the garden. If you know, in chapter 1, it only speaks of God. And then in chapter 2, it changes to the Lord God. That's because once God made the earth, he gave it to his son. He was making it for him to have a place that he would be king over, because God must stay in charge of heaven. So he made him a heaven here on earth. This earth belongs to the Lord. Okay, back to the garden. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that was pleasant to the sight and good for food, and the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That was one tree, the tree of life, tree of knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden. Eden was the entire world. It was the Garden of Eden. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden. From thence it was parted, and became into 4 heads. The name of the first is Pison, that is which that compasseth the land of Havilah, where there is gold. If you will recall the gold rush from Europe to the Americas. Havilah would be what we know as the United States today. So Pison compasseth, got tongue tied, compasseth the whole land of Havilah. It compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. Again, for the first time tonight, I'll show you the atlas. It shows the garden and the river. Here is Iceland. Right here. Right here. Here's Iceland. Sorry, I'm looking upside down. As you can see, Iceland. And you can see the ridge. What we know today is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, but it's the garden. Here is Americas, the U.S., North, South America. There's Europe. There's Africa. Here's Iceland. Iceland in the river said it went out of Eden which the river actually starts right here at the direct North Pole. It goes through the garden. It said a river went out of Eden to water the garden. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into four heads. The name of the first is Pison, that is which that compasseth the whole land of Havilah where there is gold. Pison. Here's Iceland. Here's Pison. It compasseth the whole land of Havilah. And if you can look, it goes completely all the way around. So it compasseth the whole land of Havilah where there's gold. And the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon. The same is that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. Again, I'm reading from Holy Bible, King James Version. Name of the second river is Gihon, the same that compasseth Ethiopia. If you'll see, okay, we had Pison that compasseth the land of Havilah where there's gold. Then the name of the second is Gihon that compasseth Ethiopia. So Pison stops here. Gihon continues down. If you can see Gihon. Gihon. That's the third river. That's Gihon. Goes around Africa, Ethiopia. Pause for a moment. I must turn the page. Okay. The name of the third river is Hiddekel. That is which that goes toward the east of Assyria. Hiddekel goes towards the east of Assyria. I just turn the page to a different map. It just amazes me that this is on file. This is actually in the history books, and no one has known up until now, until God showed me what this is. But thank God that it's been revealed. Okay. The name of the third river is Hiddekel. That goes towards the east of Assyria. Here's Africa. Gihon, remember, it came around. Flip back over to see Gihon. Gihon. Gihon is going around. Good view. Gihon. Going around, see the back of Africa. This goes around. See it? There's good view. See, it's going branching off now around Africa. Okay. And I turn the page to the back of Africa. Okay, here's Africa. Let's head. Back part of Africa. You can see that. Okay, there is Africa. Now you can recognize it, huh? Okay. See. There's Africa. and it's going around. It's going towards the east of Assyria, up through the Red Sea, path that Moses parted. God showed him where that riverbed was. That's why it parted, and the water went up over the side of the riverbed, and they walked through. The name of the fourth river, back to Genesis chapter 2. We're now on, I just covered verse 14, and the name of the third river was Hiddekel. That's the one that went around Africa towards the east of Assyria. Gihon, it goes around Africa. Hiddekel goes towards the east of Assyria. So it's Pison around the Americas, Gihon around Africa, it branches off, Hiddekel towards the east of Assyria, and the name of the fourth river is Euphrates, and that's going to be this amazing river right here. That just, I mean, it's so dramatic. It goes around the rest of the world, and it's a fright. There's Euphrates right here. There's Euphrates. That's Hiddekel, going back around Africa. Then you would have the Gihon going around Africa, and then you would have the Pison going back up to Iceland. Okay, that covers the river. And that again was Genesis chapter 2, verse 8 through 15.